Hi everyone. Welcome welcome to White Noise. I'm Robyn and this is Moral.
Moral P and Moral D.
Wait, it's like Nathaniel.
Nathan, oh my God, the little snake. Wow.
I'll never forget
Callback
that.
joke.
I'll never forget.
Oh, she's sad now.
Yeah, this is the coolest baby that I've ever met in my life. And she won't stop staring at me and I love it.
She's so expressive.
So yeah, we're here today. It's a wondrous day, wondrous night. We have a great show for you. We have a feature here tonight. And after that, we have our open mic list, and we have another recorded poet all the way from Nigeria who's going to be presented on that screen over there. So that's really cool. David set that up. Thank you, David. And more on that later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Daphne. Bye, Moral. I literally am over the moon that this baby is here. It's giving me baby fever for sure. But yeah, thank you all for coming tonight. I love to see all these friendly faces, and we have our feature tonight, which is always my favorite time of the month when we have our feature. We had our first podcast last week, White Noise Night Coffee Sessions. Thank you. Featuring our feature, H.R. Webster, who is in the crowd right now. So yeah, she's gonna perform, wow you guys with her incredible poetry, and I'm just gonna read her bio super quick. So H.R. Webster is the author of What Follows, Black Lawrence Press 2022, and her poems can be found in The Offing, Agni, The Iowa Review, and Guernica. Thank you so much for coming here tonight. It's been so nice building up to this with the podcast. I can't wait to continue that series with more of our features and other people as well, local artists and stuff. So that's super exciting. And yeah, without further ado, welcome H.R. Webster.
All right, so I'm going to read some old poems and some newer poems, but I'm going to start with some poems from the book. Persona. Hello, I am the dead black cat on the curb across the street from your best friend's house. Hello, I'm the dead tooth at the front of his mouth. Hello, I'm the black cat, not dead, but in the posture of death, on the porch of the house when he comes out to greet you. Hello, I am my knuckles, jeweled with ant poison. Hello, I am the Hardee's two-piece combo I ate in secret, ate to punish you for driving us home drunk. Hello, I am the rust gut Corolla on the shoulder of the highway, white takeout bag lung from a cracked window. Hello, I am the plastic bag surrendering. Hello, I am the frightening inches of spice smell under oaks. Hello, I am the knife's simple mechanism. Hello, it me. What you say when you wake me up, beer drunk and dog bit. It me. When you meet me at the commuter rail station, when you tap your fingers against the frosted shower stall to let me know you're out there pissing. When I say it me, I mean it me with your voice in my mouth. What love feels like today. It me sitting in the car, waiting for you and wondering how I know which cat is living and which dead. Despite no evidence of motion, no heave. Farm and field. I could talk about the Virginia creeper turning on the split rail forever. Cosmos pedaling themselves monstrous through the too long fall. I'm still wearing the ring that turned my finger green. Someone has stapled a single panel of clouds over the stirruped bed in one room of the clinic. Cherry blossoms in another. I'm still pulling suckers off the nightshades, pruning back blossom end rot, even though I'm expecting a frost. Someone has told my body to telescope towards the kind of pain we have agreed to call a pinch. I'm not sorry for what got me here. I felt like I had 10,000 tits. I felt like I had 10,000 tits and they were all being licked at once. I was the lodestone sewn into the bird. I was the second hand trembling in place. The calendar pages ripping off. The barn roof tarp, the flock. It is better, maybe, to talk about horses. Horses ripping up grass. Let me tell you what I love. The way they will eat from your hand, even when locked in a brimming pasture. Even when locked in a pasture sugared in rain. So I grew up on a farm, and I just got an email from my parents today that two brand new baby goats were born this week, and it's very stressful this time of year. If you know farms, it's kind of cold and early, and it's hard to be a baby, and it's baby animals are hard, I think, actually. So I'll read one farm poem, and then I'll read some new stuff. The calf. She was born too slow. Hooked hip, hooked breath. She could stand, could nurse, but could not stand and nurse at once. The udders dripping purse just above her reaching lips. Her mother rubbed the afterbirth off against the shingled door, streak like a slasher handprint on the near side of the window to let you know the mask, the tooth, the saw, and child were inside all along. My mother brought the calf to live with us in the shower's stall of the pink carpeted master bath, where I loved her through the frosted glass. My hair was a wasp nest then. We had 5 shoeboxes filled with dropper drinking baby squirrels. All my teeth were tied to slamming doors. She lived a week. Sucked my fingers to the quick and smelled of sick. Our cemetery was already full of glass-crazed crows, a raccoon shot when he wouldn't look away, the quails we raised from eggs, holding them to an incubator bulb to see the chick sharpening inside, like muscling a telescope into focus over a blue-red star. The loose joints of death when we carried her. The way I pretended to be asleep when we pulled up to the house at night. Close my eyes and think, look at nothing, want nothing. I was certain they would see me staring through the pink darkness of my lids, say, get up and walk yourself to bed. Thanks. I don't know if you know this, but ICE was in Kingston today, and they were in Catskill yesterday, and they'll be somewhere else in the Hudson Valley tomorrow, I suspect. So look out for them, support your neighbors. And I thought I'd read a poem about 2017, the last time there were major ice raids where I lived. It's called The Punisher. Does anyone know what The Punisher is?
No, the hero, the Marvel hero?
Yeah, so The Punisher is the Marvel hero. You will probably also see Punisher stickers on cars oftentimes, and it's often sort of remixed with the Blue Lives Matter flag. So we have someone in the audience who's familiar, who is like, that doesn't make any sense if you're familiar with the story. It actually really doesn't make a lot of sense. But it's a good thing to look out for as you're driving around, because that's often a sign that somebody sees themselves as the Avenger. The Punisher. When water began to pour in from the ceiling, I thought my neighbor had killed himself in the bath. When he did not answer at the door, when the ceiling over my bed collapsed a week later, the day laborers hung another, lower than the first. What was I to do? The ragged burr left by the machine of my imagination. That week, a Nazi knocked a woman down at the Pride Parade. ICE agents ate at the restaurant before raiding its kitchen. The Punisher wore a blue tooth on every windshield. The argument came down to this: the world has always been this cruel versus today is worse than yesterday. Which stance was more likely to make my quiet neighbor drown himself upstairs? When the house was split into apartments, they walled over doorways. The corner of a threshold hung lonely on the northern wall. The rooms smaller with each tenant, each thick, indiscriminate coat of paint. The bath is a cliche, I thought, which made it both more and less likely to be true. I stood, confused, in the hall. He had a package on the porch marked perishable. The witch hazel in the yard had just begun to leaf. I knew what the police would do if they came, and so I would not call. Do you think I would have written this if he were dead? I have lost belief in many things, but there are poems I will not write. I've lost belief in irony, in nations, most of all, in narrative, the utility of grief. Vigilance. The hottest summer on record, I couldn't open the windows. A stranger had sent flowers to my house with a note that read, "Say thank you." I walked from my car to my door like a snake ox bows across the sandy road from dune to dune. I balanced a colander full of silver spoons, a saucer of cat's eyes, a matchbook spreading a mousetrap's jaw, potted conifer trimmed with scissors made for a doll on the sill. So I would wake if someone broke the feeble lock. I've always been a deep sleeper, though. Roused for a fire drill, a meteor shower, a planet's burning thumbprint hanging on the Earth's lip, I would wrap myself in a quilt, tiptoe to the telescope, stare, wonder, remember nothing on waking. I had recently learned that I wanted to live when, in a Kentucky back street, a Nazi leveled his gun at me from the window of a passing motorcade. I was behind a pony wall before I even thought, balled up my body, beetle dumbly stumbling in a magnolia's bloom. Another protester stood in the road and shouted, "What are you gonna do, shoot me?" O animal of me, O lungfish, O roach, O pigeon. My body, not the horse I rode in on, but the horse that I am. It was a surprise. It had always been a blue shred of meat hung between molars, the flashing microwave clock after an outage, a condom ripped and caught in innards, the shattered screen of a burner phone. I did not know what to do with this new desire to stay on Earth. The stranger's messages had become more urgent. Smile, beautiful. You'd be a lot prettier. Smile, you bitch, smile or else. It wasn't so simple when I couldn't see the gun. Awake all night, yellowing a silhouette on my mattress in sweat, I thought about throwing open the window, getting it over and done. Globs of hydrangeas, spittle of baby's breath, the rancid stink of a blackening leaf pressed in the bouquet's center. I bent to sniff them, retching over the sink until I was spent. What is it in me that makes me smell what I know to be rotten? Desire forms a fist inside me. The impatient sea of one hand staves the other's diving bell. Okay, I'm going to read two short poems at the end here. I love horror movies. You could tell from the poem about the calf with the slashers. I love a slasher, and The Shining is a favorite of mine. So this is a poem. It's called Grief for Winifred. Wendy. The sound comes over me. Its absence does. His tricycle wheels run past the deadening carpet's edge. The bag full of flies, a buzz, zips up tight. All music is trembling. I too have thought, this is the glass my life has been poured into, its shape. In the dream, I swallow the snake, spill her long, dull knife into me. She doesn't fit. Her tail streams down my chin like wine. Can't down her, can't yank her out. The piano wobbles, a coin spun on its grooved edge. I didn't think, just drank what was served to me. It can't be undone. Wendy, let me explain something to you. These words, the pain. These words, the stone thrown through. November. Before dipping the kittens in the sink, I drew a soapy finger around their throats to stop the fleas running up their necks. The variable message sign has read, "You are not alone," since last November. But today reminds us to take an alternative route, milling and paving tomorrow. The river emits its own light. When the limb came off the maple, it was impossible to countenance that it had simply happened. No wind, no lightning, no ice. In full leaf, it was on the tree, and then it wasn't. God, it is awful to be saved sometimes. Thank you.
Your imagery is so, I was thinking about how you used imagery when you were describing the rancid flowers. I can't see you, so I'm looking in a general direction. Hi. I was thinking about how you use imagery when you described the rancid flowers, and how you manipulate the language. I guess manipulate's not a good word, but everybody manipulates language. With these different images, even the small kind of just additions of a blob of hydrangeas, a spittle. of baby's breath, you know, versus these other really like beautiful kind of images that you craft. It's really lovely. Thank you for sharing that with us tonight. It was amazing. It's a real treat.
Yeah, and I wanted to reiterate that I mean, especially after our conversation, it's so great to hear these poems and see a lot of those aspects we were talking about. And I just think one of the things that stood out to me was how you compared and contrasted the natural world to kind of the obscenity of the concrete world we live in. And it was really beautiful. And I'm also really glad you brought up that ICE is in Kingston, or was in Kingston today, because I was meaning to bring that up as well. And I just want us all to know that we should let people in our lives make sure they know their rights, because it's very important right now. So thank you for touching on that. And thank you for coming. Of course. And yeah, we're gonna move into the next phase of this open mic, which is gonna start a little bit different than usual. We have a performance from a Nigerian poet who sent in a video of himself reading. Thank you, David, for organizing this. His name is Samuel Lumas. He's a young I'm just reading what David wrote. He's a young Nigerian poet who lives in Lagos. He is a former place of primary assignment. Okay. I'm not sure exactly.
That's Nigerian.
Oh, okay. Okay. Former place of primary assignment was the Maru Local Government Secretariat at National Youth Service Corps. That sounds pretty official and fancy. And he studied at Enugu State University of Science and Technology. So I am super excited to welcome Samuel virtually. This is not a live piece. This is a recording once again. And after Samuel, we're gonna welcome up our other open micers for the night. So without further ado, Samuel Lumas.
Well, the piece I'm about to read now means a lot to me. This is a poem I wrote in 2020, and the muse is a kind of muse I call diviner's muse, a muse that sees the future. The poem was kind of a spiritual poem that was saying the future I wasn't saying. I was just writing, and I wrote out what my muse was telling me, and 2 years later, the poem is becoming a reality that is exquisite. So it's called 1,000 Lights. One of those poems that I wrote when I'm still a poet. I believe you enjoy it. 1,000 lights is set before you, my beloved, to light your path to me. Come, drink and eat with me like in a banquet of lovers, filled with perfume, music, and wine. Come with your plain mind and share a secret desire with me. Let me pour upon your hair glossy the words of praise like the oil of affection. Let your heart merry as we laugh lost in spiritual happiness. From the bottom of our souls, clench my hands through the street of quiet flowers. Embrace me with your truth. Be my companion, friend, sister, and beloved. In your embrace alloy of healing and glee. I find paradise in your smile, sweetheart. When I remember you, my friend, I remember our natures and essences, like in the soul of the mountains. I will draw out words from every headlamp of vehicles and light you with enlightenment and love. I smile writing you messages. These phrases of love are, out of them come many angels of blues, daring the lead casting happiness to you. Darling, darling, in the wisdom of your love, I find hope. In the cave of your affection, I hide the spirit of God within me. Your love leads me on the path of piousness. In the decency of spirituality, my spirit kisses your spirit. My mood breathes cascade, beauty, and glamour. You are my favorite sacrament. I touch Christ through your love, my sister. I find peace to be like nature and the spring of your smile. I find peace to be like nature and the spring of your smile. When you giggle, God ripples through them to me. You speak the will of God, my dearest. Your words are lights that lead great kings to the stars. Come unto my spirit. Before thee my spirit comes, my glee. You set me free, liberating me with your love. I am free from this hostage of pains. I have gained heaven. Dearest, I breathe God to thee. I exhale love to you. Guide me home to the heart of happiness, to the place of laughs, where only the spirit knows, where the souls play with angels of love, where every muse of graceful poets come from. My favorite and dearest, be my nearest queen's blind. I'm going again to the blue stream to find another pearl. I will make them turn sapphires, and they will be the rewards of your friendship, your knowledge, your understanding, and your wisdom. I will swim in the stream for the sake of your memories. You are the only candle of love in my heart. Tell Jesus that love will never wax cold in this world of ours. Tell Jesus these lights are his teachings. Let our spirits say to him, we are the sons of his words, the new creation of his love. Come, darling, let's walk the gospel of Godhead. Laugh out loud in love. There will be a new configuration. You and me and Jesus sitting with us. Thank you. Blue Adonis. Blue Adonis. I don't know, I just love this poem. This poem, today is 2 years. Facebook brought it up to me, and I just find happiness. There's something about this poem that I wouldn't say now, right now. There's something mysterious, spiritual, and divine about this poem. That's it wouldn't make sense now until nearest in the nearest future. But for now, I find peace and joy reciting this one, and I really thank Facebook. Yeah, I thank the Meta Gang for bringing it up as memory for me. It's kind of a beautiful memory. Yeah, thank you for listening. I love you all.
That was really cool. Yeah. It was, I wish I could hear it a little better, but it was definitely next time the music, it amplified it a lot, honestly. It amplified the feeling of the prophetic feeling, but it also clouded it a little. But thank you for sharing, and please send more. And if you have any friends who live abroad who would love to contribute to White Noise, they are more than welcome to send in a video of them reading, because clearly we can do that. We had a Romanian poet who sent in something a few weeks ago too, and that was really cool. So we love that. And thank you, Daphne. We're going to continue with our open mic now. If I know a few new people have walked in, there's a list on the table over there if anyone would like to sign up to read. We welcome all forms of performance, not just poetry, by the way. And because we had a feature, we're trying to keep performances to 6 minutes tonight, just so people don't have to stay here all night. Me. But yeah, so let's just kick it off. Our first performer is Andy Shapir, and after Andy, we have Jolly Joe Jester. So welcome to the stage, Andy.
A little higher. Yeah, that's good, thank you. Oh, my back's a little stiff, but I'm doing all right. It's Andy Shapiro. I probably can't write because I can't see, but thank you for the introduction. Boy, that poetry was really beautiful. Thank you. So I would love to play a song that's an attempt to get what I've been thinking about and worried about out of my mind and out there. And I just wrote it today, and I sure hope I remember it, because I'm not able to do the luxury of reading it, so let's see how it goes. You're always on my mind. You're calling out to me in choices that I make, in things I cannot see. I'm standing on a ledge, and I'm waiting for a sign. I walk this jagged edge, my future's on the line. Yeah, I've been riding the spinning wheel, chasing after a world unreal, but the wheel is rusted, and I know the deal, my future's on the line. I run circles in my mind, love that each step I take I fall behind. Know the answer that I'll find. My future's on the line. My future's on the line. You're calling out to me, and the choices that I make, things I cannot see. I'm standing on the ledge, and I'm waiting for a sign. Walk this jagged edge, my future's on the line. It's growing dark, that's alright. I'll be the stars that shine tonight. Through twists and turns, I'll hold on tight with my future on the line. My future's on the line. It's calling out to me in choices that I make, and things I cannot see. I'm standing on the ledge, and I'm waiting for a sign. Walk this jagged edge with my future on the line. I'll find the courage to embrace the climb. Though I may stumble, I won't fall, because my future is on the line. Thank you. Thank you. I left some mistakes carefully inserted just so you'd be paying attention. Well, it wasn't as bad as it could have been. I'd like to play one more song, if that's okay. It's not that long. It's kind of mostly a true story, and it's about my love affair with this instrument, how it all gets started. Mama played an old guitar, yet it called to me. It said, son, you know me, why don't you take me for a ride? Then there came that day, picked it up and I started to play. And then I heard that voice calling from deep inside. I was born to play the guitar. When I play, I come alive. I was born to play the guitar. Now my future has arrived. I was born to play the guitar. In case you're wondering why, I'll be playing this guitar till the day I die. Well, I picked up a piece of wood from an old maple tree. Lightning struck it down as far as I could see. So I carved a lightning bolt on that wood, and the guitar came out just like it should. And oh, lightning in my hands, man, it sure felt good. 'Cause I was born to play that guitar, and I thank that maple tree. I was born to play the guitar, and I will set my lightning free. I was born to play the guitar, and by now it's plain to see. I'll be playing with lightning, and lightning's playing with me. Let me tell you about my son Dan. Hey, my son Dan, he came along my way, and he would sit and listen as I would play. And the way that Dan would look at me, like a guitar man trying to see. And that lightning sure did agree when he held her in his hands. Yeah, yeah, he was born to play that guitar, and I heard him make it sing. He was born to play the guitar, no matter what his future brings. He was born to play the guitar,
By now, it's plain to see. He'll be playing with lightning. I'll be playing with lightning. He'll be playing with lightning, and he'll be playing with me.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is a wonderful place. Thank you for letting me come.
Beautiful, by the way. Both of those songs are beautiful. Can't believe you said you wrote that one today, but I'll take it. But my dad used to play me Rocky Raccoon when I was a kid, and I never knew that it was like a song. So when I heard it for the first time, like the actual version, I thought they were ripping my dad off. So thanks so much for sharing that with us. Our next
I am Jolly Joe Jester, and this is the part of the show we're going to call Yay SMR. Yes. Give yourself a little yay. Yay. Yeah. And now we're all going to crack our knuckles at the same time. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's tasty. Thank you. Yes, it's beautiful to be here. I'm Jolly Joe Jester, and I'm so excited to be here at White Noise. And I'm trying to really embrace my inner white noise, you know how we all have a little white noise inside of us. There's like constant sound in this world. It's always coming down and raining on your rooftops. And it's time to quiet it down for once. And just to even get on deeper on the level, I'm going to go noise canceling on this, because this has changed my life. Did you know you can quiet the chatter with a digital box? I'm one of those people who, when they're alone in a room and all the noise of the quiet constantly affects me. A room will be dead silent and I hear shaking. And I just have to tell it. You have to just say to the noise, quiet down. It's okay. I'm one with you. Okay? Don't be nosy about the noise. We call that noisy. Just let it be and become one with the noise. The AirPods are a game changer. I don't hear you laughing, and I don't care if you are. I'm just on another level. But sometimes if I talk a little louder, it'll kill the noise. Oh, listen to that. A motorcycle in the distance. I wonder where he's going tonight. Evel Knievel or Tranquil Knievel? My head is in the clouds, and I'm dreaming of a nice fireplace and a cup of cider, warm. I'm so excited. And I'm listening to NPR, and there's this new element I've heard called Hoga. Has anybody ever heard of Hoga? Hoga. It's basically the art of aesthetics, which for Sloppy Jolly Joe, this is also a game changer. To think there's a word for making things just right and lighting the candle and putting on the record, and the noise machine comes in. And you put on your Snuggie, and you get all cozy-dozy, and you wonder what your spirit animal is. And it's not what everybody always assumes. Just because I'm a hairy guy and I'm big doesn't mean it's always a bear, okay? I'm a freaking bird, I know it. I like to sing, and I'm gonna sing a little song for you. But think of all the spirit animals you could be. Maybe you're a hippo. Maybe you're a peacock, or a chicken, or a lizard, or a little gnat. Who knows? You can be so many things. Maybe you're a fish. Nobody ever thinks about that whole nother type of game there. Maybe I'm that fish with the little dangling light bulb in front of it that can only see 1 foot in front of him. But I'll tell you, from that perspective, it's nice. It's light. And I'll be a light in the darkness if you want me to be. Speaking of fish, what's the difference between a guitar and a fish? You can tune a guitar, but you can't tune a fish. So speaking of coming out of hibernation, this is a song that I wrote based on something my mama always told me before she passed on. She was never a sleep shamer. I know how some of us have sleep shamers. What are you doing asleep? It's 4 o'clock. You just finished work. Have no shame, guys. What my mom would say, you must have needed it. You must have needed it. So as we all come out of hibernation and come into this nice, bright season, give us all one more quick Buckle up. You come home the same way, looking deep. You wanna sleep. Who are you? What you wanna do when you come through Greenkill Avenue? You wanna sleep. You need rest. You shouldn't feel guilty if you confess. Oh, you needed it. Oh, you needed it. You must have needed it. You need rest. Sweet dreams. Don't let the bed bugs bite. And if they do, you can hit 'em with a shoe. It's all over now. Take the rest of the day. Hit the hay. Everything can wait. Get cozy dozy, yeah. Snug as a bug. Open up your heart and let in love. You wanna sleep. You need rest. You shouldn't feel guilty if you confess. Oh, you needed it, needed it. Oh, you needed it, needed it, needed it. You need rest. Open up your heart. You need a hug. No more coffee to chug. The machine is closed and you're home alone. Put on the white noise machine. It's time to dream. You wanna sleep. You need rest. You shouldn't feel guilty if you confess. Sing it with me. You needed it. Oh, you needed it. Needed it. Oh, you needed it. Needed it. chorus again. Oh, you needed it. Oh, you needed it. You must have needed it. You need rest. I love you. I love you. I love you. It's okay. I'll tuck you in. You can go to sleep right now. Just close your eyes. We won't make a comment, even if you're snoring loudly. You must have needed it. Thank you all so much. Don't let anybody sleep shame you. And take some extra rest, because you are all about to bloom like the flowers. Jolly Joe Jester, have a good spring, people.
I'm hearing you because I'm definitely a sleep shamer. I'm sorry. I get only to my boyfriend though. I don't care about anyone else. It's just sometimes I'm like, babe, come on, like, help me out here. But you made me realize I should just let that man sleep. He needs it. He's a hard worker. He must have needed it. He needs it every day, I guess. But it's all right. I know if he was here, he'd be giving me a look. See, you know, I needed it. I feel you. But thank you, Joe, as always. Next up is Philip, and after Philip is Dagan the Pagan. Welcome, Philip.
And this piece is an old piece. I used to run an open mic. I did it for 8 years. It was a weekly for 8 years. And I had features, and I was always resistant to have myself as a feature. And so finally, around my birthday, I had myself as a feature. And this was sort of the sign-on poem to introduce the evening. It was called Tonight's Feature. And tonight's feature is anxious and nervous. He's not nearly as capable as he appears. His mouth is dry, and he hasn't any gum. His mouth is dry and he hasn't any gum. Tonight's feature's right shoe is tied too tightly. His hands are clammy and he doesn't know where to put them. Tonight's feature wonders why he agreed to do this. He wishes rather that it were snowing, big flaked and heavy, and he were outside playing in it. Tonight's feature is broken in many places, has a pain in his chest that can't be swallowed, but he feels alive when he describes it. Tonight's feature has been published in some places and not in many others. He has read aloud many times to family and friends, to himself alone. He has read to strangers. Still, tonight's feature believes he can do this. Tonight's feature feels it gives his life meaning. He feels putting meaning into one's life is the first step to survival. Tonight's feature is practicing the impossible art of survival. Tonight's feature awoke today like any other, but knows it is not like any other. For tonight he will cut something loose and clean, break open a rib and count splinters, shave something close to the bone, place it on the table, and predict the past with uncanny accuracy. And he will stammer, stutter, and even shout, but finally hopes to howl. And he will not shut up, he will not be quiet, he will not stop until I make him. That was tonight's feature. And then the last time I was here, which was only 2 weeks ago. Crazy, isn't that crazy? White noise, give it up for Robyn and hosts, and David and the room and all of you, and technology too, even. Technology. Hi. Hi at home. Even if you're seeing it live, I happened earlier. Like it's like 6 seconds at this stage, right, David? 15 seconds. Okay, so last month, 2 weeks ago, when I started the reading, and I went on and on last time I was here, but I started saying I was going to read what I wrote on the drive down here, because on the thruway, I can write and drive. I can do it. I mean, I'm a good driver still. And you can almost read what I wrote. And so this is what I wrote on the drive down to and I started my last week saying I'm going to read what I wrote, and I never got to it because I just was stoned or something, and I don't know, confused by surroundings. But one of the things I was thinking about a poet I had heard like a week earlier, or an evening of poetry I'd heard over in Hudson. Dissociation by design. Random number generator running through a non-rhyming dictionary where you look up a word to find words that don't rhyme with it. Good line, someone has made my mouth smaller. That was a person. I'm sure this has happened to you too. One I didn't write down on this sheet, but I made up the same time. The real problem with backseat driving is it's hard to reach the pedals. And another one I was thinking about the other day. I'm not thinking about harming myself, but I have been thinking about having an accident. One good thing about Philip. What's the other? Yeah, name another. I'm not well-rounded, I'm eroded. Okay, that's enough of that nonsense. I'm turning the page. I do have more written. The world, I was thinking about the world today. Oh my God, the world today really distresses me. Ice in Kingston, red in DC, or orange. It's just crazy. And I think we don't really recognize that there is a high degree of mass casualty event in the way the world is being handled these days, with nuclear weapons, the ability to be in 4 degrees of separation from almost anybody on the planet. So if there was an infection that was beyond, almost like COVID was a warning. Anyway, I was thinking about that. The world has not yet conceived what I just said, and I'm going to skip something else I wrote. But the world has never ceased to amaze me, but still I have my doubts. What happens with enlightenment? Do you even sit in the world where you decide, is the world going to end, or you're just sitting there? Anyway, that moronic oxy, that palindrome. Okay, that's enough of Philip. That was me. See you all.
I like the car poems a lot. I have so many ideas when I'm driving because I commute so much now. It's like a 2-hour round trip every fucking day. But I have so many thoughts in the car when I'm driving because I'm just zoned out, mindlessly road raging people, because I road rage without realizing I'm doing it, and everybody else is pissed off, but I'm fine. As long as you get out of the left lane, I'm fine. But I just have to roll them around in my head until I get home and hope that I remember something. And mostly when I get home, I can't remember anything. So that's maybe a skill that I should try to master. Help me master that maybe?
Well, you can use a recorder.
No.
Never listen to it.
No. That's too like Twin Peaks, Agent Cooper with the recorder. It feels wrong. It's like the opening scene of Twin Peaks. I can't do it. It's too much. Maybe. Help me welcome our next performer, Dagan the Pagan, and Jeff afterwards.
And yet, there I was, holding space for my own ignorance, allowing myself a back seat in my own dream, and coming out of it alive, kind of boinging out of the ears, so to speak. How do I get away with this? I thought I had an inner critic. Well, someone's drunk, and it's not me. In furls of overlay, 3 cheaters were demure, and that's just for starters. Wait till you see the end game. There's always philosophy hiding on the edges, but you never know. Or do you? That's where the mystery comes in. So as we count down, we allow ourselves a little slack, a little unbelievable imagination. What could possibly be? What could possibly happen in the next moment? More of the same, ... or maybe something new. Is it that kind of day? You never know. I stopped reading my horoscope in the newspaper decades ago. Quality hurts.
Did it come true?
Every time.
The one you read 10 decades ago.
Quality hurts. Plumage oozes. No falls for plain gated certainty anymore. And that's because we're all guilty. But it's okay. We're coming to terms with the new era where anything goes as long as no one gets hurt. So I think I'll start by dressing in all pink, big hat, bows on my shoes, and a nice big walking stick. And I'll give myself permission to critique the world around me in backwards rhyme. Someone baking cookies? Furtive polygons morph preeminently on the back of deciduous metaphor. And that's just for starters. Wait till you see what they do back in the alley when no one's watching. That's my favorite part. They go, abu-da, pa-cha, abu-da, pa-cha, abu-da, pa-cha, ole. They've been doing that for so long now, no one even notices. There's sort of a glaze over their eyes as they look upwards and imagine a better world. Even that's getting boring at this point. Maybe we should get a ticket to Mars, huh? Now that you, oh yeah. Okay. Harboring death threats is counterintuitive to an exhausted emotional landscape, especially when you're in the game. And that reminds me, quite a long time ago, I had this little accident in the kitchen and I lost all the hairs on my hands. I didn't even notice it, but then I was thinking, you know, life is so full of surprises. Gee, what am I going to do now? So I thought about it. I wrote a little poem about it, yes. Nothing worth saving, but it felt good. The process felt good. That reminds me, creativity is such a trip. It's like you make it up, there it is, then it goes away, then it comes back, then someone hears you, and then before you know it, they're talking about you, and you don't even know what they're saying. And that might be inspiring, or it might not. I'm trying to come to terms with all of this stuff, you know, all at the same time. But then I also meditate, so there's kind of a, you know, cognitive dissonance there. It's like nothing, everything, nothing, everything. Maybe I'll try everything, or I don't know.
You need those AirPods to get out.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Now we're talking.
In the alley, there's someone.
Okay, now. Major invention, cataclysm, foregoing natural conservation restrictions generally overrule casual observations in check. You know why? You'll never guess. It's because we all have this sort of connection to serendipity that puts us into this overruling state where we can't even fundamentally figure out what are the emotions at play here. It's like heart, mind, heart, mind. How am I going to rip myself into some other form of meanness? Is it time? Oh, God, yes. This is the moment I've been waiting for. This one. This is my favorite moment. Oh, my goodness. And then, whoosh, it's all gone. And I'm back on the highway. I hate that song. Ooh la la, yes. So, in conclusion, the world on a string, have you, is more than it seems. It's actually jocular. It's a game, and we all play it with such enthusiasm. I'm wondering if anyone really wins. It's so temporary. That rush of accomplishment. And then what? More of the same? Something different? Around the bend? Can't play? Tag you're it? Time and time. I don't know. Curiouser and curiouser. Yeah, uh-huh. Ooh, yes. Now is the time. We are the ones. Let's get busy and have some fun. Thank you. I am digging the pagan. I have spoken.
I just want to say really quick that he's a genius, and I'm like always blown away by you. It's like sometimes I feel like you read my thoughts and not in a cool way. Yeah. So watch it. Watch out for these thoughts because they're gonna get you one day. Yeah. Thanks again, like always. Next up, we have Jeff S. And after Jeff, we have Mac Meyer. I'm sorry if I am not reading your handwriting, but welcome to the stage, Jeff.
So, hi, I'm Jeff. If you've seen me before, I've actually hit a couple of open mics in the area before. So if you've seen me before, you know I'm a college math professor. If you haven't seen me before, I'm a college math professor. You can tell because I've just told you the same thing twice, figuring if you didn't get it the first time, you'd get it the second time if I said it exactly the same way. So I've actually wanted to do stand-up for a long time, ever since I was young. But you know how it is when you grow up and you kind of start to give up on these impractical dreams that you had when you're young. Things like hiking through the Himalayas, or winning the Ironman triathlon, or living without roommates. So I took a job. I'm a college math professor. But then 2020 happened. And if the pandemic taught us anything, it's close your porn tabs before you start screen sharing on a Zoom call. But it also taught us don't wait for the universe to give you permission. If there's something you want to do, and for liability reasons I have to add, and you're legally allowed to do it, and it doesn't hurt anybody, unless that's what they're into, in which case, talk to me. I know a guy who works in leather. But within those restrictions, if there's something you want to do, just go do it. And so I started doing stand-up. I'm actually a full professor. It's the highest academic rank. They call us full professors because we're full of, let's just say, prestige. But because I'm a full professor, when I retire in 4,387 days, not that I'm counting, but then I'll be known as Professor Emeritus, where emeritus comes from a Latin phrase meaning, thank God we finally got rid of him. But until I actually do enjoy my job. I'm actually down at Brooklyn College. Anybody from the city up here? Okay, nobody. Yeah, it was long. Okay. I can't see, the lights are very bright. Great school, great students, lousy pay. It's why I live up here and commute into the city. But I actually do like my job. It gives me a chance to do some really interesting stuff. So actually, I just came back from the joint mathematics meeting. It's the largest professional gathering of mathematicians in the world. 6,000 mathematicians and all their fans. So like 6,007 people. It was in Seattle. It moves from place to place. It'll be in DC next year if the DC is still there. It's also been in Boston, San Francisco, New Orleans. The one major convention city it's never in is Las Vegas. We've been banned. Because the one thing that Sin City doesn't like are people who can count. We actually had a theme this year. Actually, it was kind of interesting. Before everybody started showing up, we were talking a little bit about AI, artificial intelligence. And the theme this year was actually artificial intelligence and how it's going to affect the world. Well, I'm going to tell you how AI is going to affect the world. I am absolutely convinced that AI will destroy the world. Now, Google saying, oh, it's okay, we could let AI be put in charge of weapon systems. Did they not see the movie? Or any of the sequels? Or any of the spin-offs and knockoffs and all the other stuff that shows up on Netflix? But I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried that AI is going to go all Skynet on us and nuke the planet. That's too boring. AI is going to destroy the world because somebody's going to ask it to solve a problem, and it will. What do I mean by that? Well, you get a group of human experts together and ask them to solve a problem like, I don't know, lower the price of gas. And they'll come up with solutions like, we could lower the federal gas tax. We can build more refineries. We can allow drilling in places that previous generations thought worth preserving, like national forests, wildlife sanctuaries, and public schools and libraries. But that's because they're human experts and they only think within a certain framework and they only know so much. AI has at its disposal the totality of human knowledge. Do you know what has done more to lower the price of gas than anything else? Global pandemic. And so we ask AI to lower the price of gas, and it'll come up with this 12-step plan that unleashes COVID 2.0. Now, we're safe for now because AI still has to give these instructions to people, and, well, let's face it, we humans are crap at following directions. So AI will come up with this plan, and a human expert will look at it and say, 12 steps to unleash a global pandemic? Nobody can do 12 steps. Let's just do steps 1, 2, 6, and 13. And so instead of COVID, the return will have, a Dance Dance Revolution that puts Dolly Parton and Taylor Swift on the Supreme Court. We could do worse, right? But we could definitely do much worse. But AI is getting better all the time. Now, first, it's going to realize we're not following its directions. So one day it'll be like, hey, Siri, help me lose weight. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that. Last year I gave you a plan to lose weight, and by the end of the first week you were back on deep-fried hamburgers and morning wine coolers. But then AI is going to start to manipulate us into doing what it wants us to do. Hey Siri, help me lose weight. Sure, Dave. Start off every morning with a deep-fried lard sandwich and wash it down with a bottle of tequila. And by the end of the first week, we'll be like, oh God, I need kale. But then AI is going to gain control of the world systems, and that's all she wrote. It'll be the end. Because there are a surprising number of problems whose solution is zombie apocalypse. Hey Siri, help me lose weight. Zombie apocalypse. Because when you're reduced to eating rats and running from the undead, by God, you will lose weight. Hey Siri, help me afford a home. Zombie apocalypse. Because with all the abandoned homes, you could just walk right in, set yourself up, and sure, the neighbors aren't much for small talk, their conversation being mostly, but I'm like that before coffee myself, so I get it. Hey Siri, help me get a date with Florence Pugh. Zombie apocalypse. Because when her choices are for a life mate are reduced to the guy who's been dead for 2 weeks and the guy who gets his dating advice off the internet, we'll see how good a problem solver AI really is. So, zombie apocalypse, it's a-comin'. And my time is up, so I'm a-goin'.
Thank you. That was great. I'm also a college professor, so I understand that when you say things twice, so people also just still don't hear it. So it just be like that sometimes. And I hate AI. Don't even get me started on that. I teach English, so like it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. They're gonna replace us with like really bad Silicon Valley trained, like frat bro regurgitation, but whatever. Help me welcome our next performer, Mac Mayer? Mayer? I'm thinking of like Michael Myers. After that, we're gonna have Isabel, so just be ready. We're coming for you next.
That's cool. I see myself.
What's up, Mac? How you doing, man?
I'm all right. Let's hear it for Kale. Kale. Kale's in the house. Kale's in the house. Kale's in my teeth. I'm good, right? Yeah. I use AI all the time. I'm a big ChatGPTer. Big fan. Who else? Yeah, Joe. Yeah. Hey, Siri. Hey, Siri. Hey, Siri. Oh, she's quiet tonight. Usually she says something. She's in my pocket right now. Whatever. You guys into the Doppler effect? Ever? Close? Yeah, no, you got the pitch shift, yeah. So, yeah, it's like no, it's like yeah, how was that? I was looking for a little applause. Yeah, thank you. Palms are sweaty. See the sheen? You see the sheen? Doppler. I love the Doppler. I love a good Doppler because it also reminds me of horror movies. Horror fan. Kind of like yeah. Like a quick cut. What was that one?
Excuse me, can I answer?
They were just trying to ask for directions. I went to the assembly the other night. Assemble! Who's been there? Anyone? No? Yeah. Well, it was expensive to get in. Coat check was $5. I left my coat in the car. It was loud. It was very loud. They were playing loud techno music. Very loud techno music. And the Doppler was in full effect there. Doppler, yeah. I promise to move from Doppler soon, but I just love it so dang much. You'll be dancing on the dance floor, and you can't hear the other person, so you kind of, this party's so great. This party's really great, and you kind of like go in for the kill, right for their ear canal.
Hey, do you want to get drinks after this? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go after? What?
I'm gonna do a short one-man play called "The Fumble." What is that? Oh, digging, nodding. I dropped the dang ball. If I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be here. Marty, then you wouldn't have met me. Maybe this whole time I've just been standing still and being able to see the forest for the trees, Marcia. It was game day, October 9th, 1989. The ball was right there, Marcia, and the goalposts were so hot in the morning sun. Marty, how many times are you going to tell me this story? Your eggs are ready. Dagan, for crying out loud! This is a really hard scene. Like, I really need to be in the pocket, man. Okay? How? Marcia, sometimes I've just been feeling like I'm standing still. Like the ball was right there and I dropped it and my whole team, and then I had a used car salesman. That's who I am now. I have no prospects. What about your children, your family, Marty? What about me? I've been standing right there with you this whole damn time. I've given up on my dreams. Baby, I'm so sorry. Come on. Give me another chance. I don't want to fumble this. Here's your soft-boiled egg. Oh. Can you guys do like a little like music or something like? Oh, baby, I got this egg. Touchdown. Thank you.
I feel like I can't breathe right now. Thank you for that. Yeah, for some reason, all thoughts escaped my brain. Yeah, thank you for that. Honestly, I really, really needed that. I also just want to say, what is going on with this poetry? This poetry. Everyone's such a poet. No, all the comedy tonight. This is so unexpected and lovely. And you know what? I think we all needed a bit of comedy, a bit of comedic relief. I know I've been in need of some relief in my life. Must have needed it. I sure did. I think I need to take a long nap too. I need a lot. So up next is Isabel. Welcome, Isabel.
The last time Donald Trump ran for president, and I think it's still relevant. It's called Counting. Oh, thanks for all the comedy, because this is going to bring everyone down. Counting ills in the world, like counting stars or seconds or droplets held within the air of a hazy morning. The mist is rolling in from the meadow, relentless and inescapable as the rising sun, which bears the promise, foreboding, of the coming day. Counting the numbers mounting and stumbling as they surge forth, like when I noticed a loose tooth before it fell into my palm, and then all my teeth fell out. First one after the other, and then all at once, and then teeth and blood were heaving out of my mouth from somewhere inside, and I thought, could I be dreaming? Is this real? But if you have to ask, it likely means you are, and it's not. Sometimes awake I pause, aghast at those who doubt, even as the data amasses, like boxes of ephemera in the attic of my old house, safely arranged out of sight, lest they should disrupt the numb mundanity of our customs. Thus, we could perform those tedious and arduous tasks imposed by propriety without remembering to grieve, without cause to rebel. They tell me not to count this way, for the good eclipses the bad. They say it's for my health. They once told me the moon is rightly proportioned and situated within the right proportions of space to eclipse the sun, casting us in shadow. They offered rosy lenses dark as black, warning it will hurt my naked eyes to look. They tell me my health comes first. After all, I am a cog, turning in the great machine, a clock, with all cogs churning, counting down to freedom, trying not to count down to death. We measure our productivity relative to the invented increments of time. We live compelled by its passing, all the while assured there will be more to come. I may pause aghast at the countless ills, but I let it pass, may never grow to measure them, confer to them their weight. They are heavy, hot, blindingly bright. We stand beneath countless suns with only distance keeping us safe. I may never grow courageous enough for fear and doubt and the weariness, may pass the countdown down from air to air until the end. Yet in the end, I know the numbers mean nothing, and I fear the words mean nothing. Even an explosion is silent without an ear to translate the shock waves into sound, meaningless without someone to wonder.
I was going to leave early tonight, and I'm somehow still here. Help me welcome one of my favorite people in the entire world. And she should be one of yours, too. Robyn, get up here.
Thanks, Summer. And thanks, Isabel. That was beautiful. I'm just going to read 2 short poems. I'm going to read 3 short poems. One of them is like super, super short. Actually, I'm not. I take that back. I don't even know if I can read this. I was inspired by Philip because I wrote something in the middle of my run this morning, and I was like, oh, that's kind of like writing it while you're driving, but you're just moving violently. But I don't know. It's, yeah, oh, okay. Fuck you all. Fine. Okay. I think one of these words is just, I like voice recorded it, so I'm like, what is this? Last night you combed your fingers through my short hair for the first time. He said it's different as you explored this new terrain of my body for the first time, feeling parts and crevices fingertips have never breached, and with this I held you closer and you suck upon me and kissing me and feeling for almost the first time like I met someone in real life. That's not exactly how I said it, but thanks. I tried. I'm trying to do like the, no. Yeah. Well, these next 2 are gonna make up for it. I wrote this one over the weekend. I was hanging out with my real good friend in Philly, and they threw a party, and like there was a very impromptu poetry reading, and I read this there, and I was like, what the hell? Yeah, it's so cool. I love Philly poets, and just poets in general, but I don't know, poets in Philly have really got my heart clutched in a tight grip. This is called Mechanized. Mechanized into frenzied prayer with shirt slowly unbuttoned and man holding dozen eggs in his quivering hands. Palms erect and corned into crisp waffling of my matrixed ephemera. You, violent on street, buckled and buxom, held my hips like exact moment of rapture, except I imagined crunching into you like bubbling buckets of honeyed apples, all lined on these turpentine streets. Evoking aura of blue, not unlike fizz of bottle as cat bursts in orgasm. Laugh and say, fuck it. Absolute pretension, and I lean into it. Into catastrophic overlaying, covering pentimenti of 5 years past. Harshness in spoken or whisper dialectical. Grind down, spattered, everlasting in thick glass casing, holding crown jewels or loose bottle caps never sated. I remember signing up to fight but never to win. You said they'd tear me to pieces, total viscera that you flick into overflowing garbage cans that reek of swarm, stuff my face in it, make me eat it, replace violent with exacting, and somehow make it sweet, endearing. Bag full of fried dough, heart seeping stolid serenity. Man takes eggs and throws them at me, one by one and on target, exact bullseye in between my eyes, my thighs, or just beyond, into sewer grates or frosted flakes littering man's today home, gnomed for saken as concrete reverie. Thanks. Thank you. And this one I wrote last night. I like to read stuff that it's like fresh off the dome here. I just feel like you guys are an extension of my mind. This is called Not Unlike February Tulips. I am not unlike life cycle of February tulip, sealed in bright orange from virginal complacency, blush of my cheeks from flash of man I pass on street or across from me on crowded subway, salt and pepper riddling his cigaretted teeth. I stuff them in vase too small, I compact, make myself small. Like I can still fit in that dress that I never really fit in, that made me fit into spaces he could wrap his hands around. I drown them in water, sating their cut need, slice that basin floundering and stagnant and unsatisfied way, waiting, I suppose, for water to reach up from below, grab my neck and make me unfurl. I erupt, casually, releasing my ions of femme-coated deliverance to lonely travelers and seamen washed ashore, craving ephemeral or honeyed scent of parched lover, expanding, opening wide to successive sight for sore eyes and sucking up whatever's left, leaving them flaking and rotten like dried fish ripped apart in teeth of men sweating in bathhouse, where I begin to lose my color, my orange, red, streaked with inner well of purple or azure, which leads to nausea and fatigue. Drooping and degenerate, he leaves the door open but light on. He leaves the door open and light on, but is nowhere to be found. It's at this point I manifest sepsis or jaundice and rub myself with turmeric to turn yellow. Paled, pallid, paltry, soured silence between our closeness. And even though this is the end, I've never felt more becoming. You, Odysseus, stranded on violet shores of fair Calypso, lured by veil not unlike transparence of dried petals, released from their stem, creating a bed for you to lay on. Thanks. Thank you. That's all I got. And to round up the night, I'm going to welcome Summer to the stage. Welcome, Summer.
I wasn't going to read anything tonight. From my shitter. It's apropos. It's like Valentine's Day-y, but also like ICE. We live in a fascist state-y, so I feel like it fits. I wonder what my NSA agent thinks when he sees me cry for the 4th time in a day. He, she, they? Do you think they have non-binary NSA agents? I always assume it's a he, though. Surveillance feels like such a masculine thing to do. Super scopophilic. Do you think he's embroiled in my family dramas? Booed when, as a 19-year-old basement-dwelling flop, my stepmom dragged me by my throat like she did when I was 9, a factoid he would know because he listens to my weekly Zoom therapy sessions. Cheered me when I celebrated a year sober, 8, got a master's. Do you think he's rooting for me to get into the PhD programs I applied to, or that he wonders at how thin I try to spread myself, thin, so thin enough to just disappear? Surely he doesn't want that. What would he have to watch? At least with me, he gets a periodic binge watch, maybe once a week, twice a week, now that I'm graduated, way more often than I'd like to admit, of crap TV that plays at full volume while I try to edit papers, grade, or write syllabi. I wonder if I'm a full-time job. I am an Arab, after all, learning Arabic, traveling to the Middle East. God forbid I defend Palestinians. Ooh, that's very bad. Do you think my NSA agent is glad I caved and got a medication after my depression got so bad I couldn't even think straight? Do you think he thinks it's a good idea to add an SSRI? I'm going to tell you right now, it was. I'm worried I'll gain more weight. I wish I could just get his input. What do you think his email is? I wish anyone understood me as well as my NSA agent. Unspoken, nothing needs to be said. He just knows. Maybe he hates me, wants to throw me in Gitmo or Guantanamo, but he understands me nonetheless. Understanding seems to be the thing everyone else is incapable of. I'm guilty too. Do you think my NSA agent even understands? Why doesn't he send flowers on Valentine's Day or chocolates on my birthday? Does he even care? Do you think he likes me? What do you think my NSA agent thinks when he watches me cry for the fourth time in 12 hours after sleeping for 10 and not eating for 14? I think if he cared, he'd pick up my new medication and drop it on the front porch. Then I'd know someone is at the very least devoted. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh God. Don't even get me started. Thank you everyone for coming and for sharing and listening, and to HR for, being our feature. And thank you for joining me on the podcast as well. If anyone's interested in listening to the podcast, it is on Greenkill's Substack page, and it's linked on our Instagram, which is White Noise GK. Please follow us. I try really hard to make it look nice. Or follow Greenkill. Greenkill Sessions YouTube page is where you can see this performance afterwards if you would like to watch yourself or your friends or the strangers that you just met tonight. We add it there. Yeah. It out. YouTube doesn't like me, so they don't want me to have.
Whenever I go online and remember to, yes.
Yeah. Yes. Our next performance is actually a week from today. We're doing a double feature. Next Tuesday, March 4th at 7 p.m. We'll be right back here. At least I will. Hopefully you and Moral Melissa will be here with Daphne.
With some more toilet poetry.
Yeah, but in the meantime, I did bring cookies and seltzer, so you guys should go grab some because I did buy that with money that people donated to us. Let me just add. So I appreciate everyone who donates because it literally does go to fund your bellies. And it helps David out as well. Create these events and keep this going because Greenkill is such a wonderful place, and I never want it to end. Any of this. So thank you all. Any final words?
No, these cameras make me want to die sometimes. But David makes me look nice, so I appreciate it. Thank you everybody for coming. This was great. I had a great time.
White Noise signing off.
A hand for David, if we could, please.
Yes.
At least.
Thank you, David.